Subcommittee on Firearms will come to order. Good afternoon, everyone. Just grab my little handy dandy notes right here. Awesome. Good afternoon and welcome to the Public Safety Subcommittee on Firearms. My name is Darius Clark, delegate representing the 84th District. We will be hearing a large number of bills in this committee this session, and we will have decorum and respect all parties when giving testimony. We will respect all members of this committee. Please be reminded that the committee moves by motion and that all dialogue goes through the chair. I'm ran down here, y'all. I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. Trying to catch up. In order to keep this committee moving in a timely manner, all testimony will be in blocks. So please be mindful of the time that you take to testify because other people may also want to speak. So just be mindful. Both sides will get 5 minutes of support and 5 minutes for opposition, and then the same online as well. So please be mindful that someone does want to speak after you. Awesome. Now we'll introduce the committee. It will start to my far right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Delegate Kimberly Pope Adams, representing the 82nd District. That is all of the city of Petersburg, along with parts of Dinwiddie County, parts of Prince George County, and all of Surrey County.
Good afternoon. My name is Delegate Deborah Gardner, and I represent the 76th District, which is a large portion of just Chesterfield County.
Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. Delegate Adele McClure. I represent the 2nd House District encompassing parts of Arlington County.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alfonso Lopez. I represent the 3rd District, which is parts of Arlington and parts of Alexandria.
Delegate Helmer, Southwest Fairfax County, 10th District.
Delegate Tony Wilt, represent the 34th House District, portion of Rockingham County and the city of Harrisonburg.
Delegate Dolores Soates, I represent the 31st District, which includes most of Warren County, half of Frederick County, and all of Clark County.
Good afternoon, Eric Zaire, representing Campbell, Bedford, and Pennsylvania.
Awesome. And again, Darius Clark, representing the 84th District, parts of Suffolk, Franklin, Isle of Wight County, and the whole city of Franklin. Now I just wanted to go and introduce our clerks and our attorneys.
Barbara T.
Awesome. And before we get too carried away, Madam Clerk, can you open the roll? Awesome. You can close the roll. A quorum is present. All right. First bill we have up is HB 101. Is Ballard here? Let me look first. He is not here. All right. We're going to keep it moving. 623. Cherry, you're up.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to present House Bill 623 today. This is really a cleanup bill in many ways, and it's meant to cut red tape. Just to give you the quick synopsis of what it does, it permits the local Commonwealth attorney to petition a court for the return of someone's property. So let me give you a quick example of what that means. Let's say you had something stolen from you that was used in the commission of a crime. The person who committed the crime has been found guilty or innocent. That property remains with the Commonwealth attorney and his office. The court allows for that person who owns it to come and petition for their property to be returned. But many times people don't know how to do that process. They don't know that that's available to them. They then have to hire an attorney who goes and petitions the court for them for the return of their property. What this bill does is allows the Commonwealth attorney, who already has possession of it, to be a petitioner of the court to return that property to the rightful owner that was a victim of a crime. And with that, I have my Commonwealth attorney, Gray Collins from the city of Colonial Heights, is here with me. And if we have any technical questions, but in essence, he has a room full of property that belongs to people that he wants to return back to them. But because he's not recognized in the code as a petitioner of the court to return that property, he's not allowed to do so. So that's simply what the bill does, allows a Commonwealth attorney to petition the court for the return of someone's property who was the victim of a crime.
Thank you. Moving to members of the committee. Does any members of the committee have questions for the patron? Delegate Helmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm reading the statute, the existing statute right now, and I appreciate what think I appreciate what the patient's trying to do, but I don't actually see anything in the statute as written today that prevents the Commonwealth's attorney from doing this.
My Commonwealth attorney has at least 3 examples where he has tried to petition a court, and 3 judges have told him he does not have that right as the code is written. He's going to come and explain that to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Greg Collins, Commonwealth attorney for City of Colonial Heights. And basically what happens is when I file the petition with the court reads the legislative intent as that it's only the owner of that property that can do it, because it says notice to the Commonwealth. I can't give notice to myself, and so the court has consistently ruled against us in trying to return property. Most of these weapons are automatically forfeited to the forfeiture statute when a crime is committed and the gun's automatically forfeited. So a lot of times we had a best example is we had a baseball bat that a mother had worked overtime to get for her child for a baseball team. It was stolen, used in a crime, it was forfeited. She didn't have the money to hire an attorney. I filed to the court to give her bat back for her son to go play baseball, and the court said, no, you don't have the right or the ability to file a petition for it.
Mr. Delegate Hammer.
Mr. Chair, follow-up question.
Yes.
So, and this, if this is okay, I'll ask for the Commonwealth attorney. So, Mr. Chair, I just ask, for other property that is seized, do you normally petition, in this, have you been asked to petition for in other words, other seizures, right? I would imagine the individual also is the petitioner for their property to come back. Does the Commonwealth's attorney, have you had instances of something that's not a weapon where you've tried to intervene and have the same issue?
So there's different forfeiture statutes. So this one is specific to the 3629 section, which is all type of weapons and things of that nature. But if you're talking about cars and other things, there's a different statute that allows for that. And consistently, when someone's car is taken and forfeited, it's through a forfeiture statute. They have to file, again, just like this one, they would have to file a petition to court to redo that. I've never filed a petition to return a car to anybody. So if you're asking the question, I just don't know people who usually own cars and they're seized, it's usually not something I've returned to them.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'll have comment at the appropriate time on the motion. Thank you.
Just not sure how to answer that because I don't.
No problem. Any other questions from the committee? Seeing none, we will go to, is anyone in the room in support of this bill? Please come up. And we'll start the clock at 5.
Hi, Patricia Webb from Hanover County. I support this bill. If something is stolen from you, just because it was used in a crime doesn't mean that it's not still yours. You shouldn't suffer that loss. You should be able to get it back, and you shouldn't have to go through extra steps and jump through hoops to get it back. It should be made as simple as possible. So I support the bill, and I hope you will too.
Thank you. And if you're planning to speak, please already form a line.
I support the bill too, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair Clark and members of the subcommittee. My name is John Weber, and I represent the National Rifle Association and our members in Virginia. The NRA supports House Bill 623, and thanks Delegate Cherry for its introduction. This bill will make it easier for law-abiding gun owners to get their property back when someone else uses it in a crime. For those reasons, the NRA supports this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving over to opposition, does anyone oppose this bill that is present? If so, please go ahead and form a line. Seeing none, I believe we have some folks online. 23. Awesome. If you're online, please make sure that your camera is on and you are visible. We will first go for if you are supporting the bill, and it's a 5-minute timer for all that is speaking online, so please be mindful of the person that is going after you. I just want to reiterate that. Awesome. First up is Ricky Roberts. Is Ricky in the room? Please unmute. All right, not hearing Ricky. Vic Nichols. you are on mute if you are talking. Okay, we can't hear you. We're going to go to the next person, Mr. David Daughtry.
Hi, I urge you guys to vote in favor of this common sense bill agreeing with VCDL. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Philip Van Cleef. James Lamb. I can't see that far. All right.
They'll help him out. Who's in the room?
Right. James Hemmings. Mr. James Hemmings.
I'm good. This is a good eye test one.
Hi, I strongly support this bill. People should not have their property taken from them. This is just common sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Lori on the call? All right. Mr. Nicholas Baker. Nate VR. No. Brian Wren.
No. Bingo.
Hello. I do support this bill as well. The language reads like very much common sense that the Commonwealth Attorney should be able to take proactive action to return someone's property. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Michael Concannon. All right. He's here? All right. Oh, he dropped. Okay. And last but not least is Kevin Ramirez.
He's up there.
Okay, you're up.
Good on mic? Okay. I just don't want to repeat too much of what everyone else has already said, but yes, I do support this bill.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now for the ones online against the bill, is Ms. Curie? All right, I think that's everyone. Awesome. We're going to move back to the committee. Delegate Helmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I have a motion.
I'm going to come right back to you. Delegate Wilt.
Had a motion, Mr. Chair.
Oh, yeah, both got more. I thought you had a question.
Go ahead, make your motion.
Make your motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to report.
Mr. Chair, I have a motion.
Delegate Helmer.
Mr. Chair, I move to continue this bill. Speaking to that motion.
Delegate has to mic.
Mr. Chair, I'm actually very sympathetic to what you've laid out here. I think the challenge is, it sounds to what the Commonwealth Attorney said, we have a number of forfeiture statutes, and rather than piecemeal the approach to forfeiture and how we're going to engage the Commonwealth's Attorney, which is a Commonwealth-wide set of questions about what do we do with vehicles that are seized and what do we do with other items that are seized. The reason I'm continuing this, offer a motion to continuous, which I think will pass, rather than saying let's lay it on the table or whatever, is I think we should continue to look at this. I recommend that we come back with a forfeiture statute involving Commonwealth attorneys, goes through courts so they can look at the holistically about how do we return property. Do we want Commonwealth attorneys involved in that across our various forfeiture statutes? And then we can probably solve this. But I think just doing it piecemeal for one piece of equipment versus others probably doesn't make a ton of sense, or we're just going to create conflicts in the code. So I don't know that we're the right committee to think about it holistically. This bill doesn't do that. And so I think we should encourage you to continue to look at the issue, and then maybe next year, let's take it holistically across the various.
Chairman, for the record, I'd consider that a friendly amendment, and we'll just include them all.
I appreciate that, Mr. Chair. I actually don't know what all I mean, that's why we're not in the right committee for it. So,
if you're making the amendment, I'd consider that friendly. And we'll do them all right now.
Tomorrow. You got till tomorrow to draft a bill and put it on the floor. You can blue sheet a bill till tomorrow.
My staff is calling DLS right now,
call
sir.
DLS. All right. Thank you, Mr.
Awesome. The motion is to continue to 2027. This is a voice.
That's a nice second. Yeah.
Oh, and it has been properly seconded. Thank you. And this is a voice vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. HB 623 continues to 2027. Thank you, Delegate Cherry.
Thank you, Chair.
Awesome. Delegate Cole, you're up next. HB, I got your bill up here. HB 702.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the subcommittee. HB 702, which is before you, establishes a consistent statewide approach for local firearm give-back programs. The bill is based on part of a successful model already operating in the city of Fredericksburg.
Is it something you...
I'm sorry. I would like to move the substitute, Mr. Chair.
There has been a motion to move the substitute and second it. This is a voice vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The substitute is before us.
Thank you. And so going back to explain what the substitute does, the bill requires each local law enforcement agency to develop policies and procedures to implement either a firearm give back program or a firearm buyback program by January 1st of 2028. And these policies shall include requirements that require that each local law enforcement agency designate when and where a person may voluntarily return a firearm, which shall be subsequently subjected to forensic testing, that each firearm may be retained by the receiving law enforcement agency to be used as evidence if such firearms is determined to have been used in the commission of a crime, that the returned firearms not be used in the commission of a crime shall be destroyed, and that the identity of the person who surrenders a firearm shall be kept confidential. Such policies and procedures shall also require local law enforcement agencies to submit an annual report to the Department of State Police that includes the number of firearms that have been received through the implemented program. This is a practical, proven public safety measure that builds on local success while expanding access statewide. Also, I believe the City Council of Fredericksburg has emailed a letter in support to each of the members, and I'm glad to have the Vice Mayor of the City of Fredericksburg here to testify and support as well when the time is proper.
Awesome, thank you. Moving to the committee, any members? Delegate Helmer.
Mr. Chair, just parliamentary pursuit. I'm seeing two different substitutes on LIS right now. Is that just a glitch and they're both the same?
Yeah, that's just a technical issue, yeah.
And I did have one question. Does this amendment take away the fiscal impact?
Yes, it does.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions from members of the committee? Seeing none. Moving to the audience, anyone in support of this bill, please come up. Please form a line, and we will put 5 minutes on the clock.
This one. All right. Thank you all. I'm Chuck Fry Jr., Vice Mayor of the City of Fredericksburg, and today I'm happy to stand in my purpose. In 2014, when I was elected to City Council in the City of Fredericksburg, I implemented and I spearheaded, created, and implemented this program, which was the Fredericksburg Gun Give Back, in partnership with the Fredericksburg Police Department and the Sheriff's Department. This program itself, for folks who didn't understand what the program would do, I would just use it as a comparison to similar to like a prescription drug type of turn-in program for folks who have a firearm who want to turn it in on a voluntary basis in the City of Fredericksburg is the way that we did it. And just to give you some quick stats, because I know that folks behind me to speak, in our first gun give back, we did it a 4-hour program. We collected 64 guns in 4 hours in the City of Fredericksburg, little old Fredericksburg. Year to date, since 2014, since the program has been implemented, we are now at 242 guns in the City of Fredericksburg. And I would like for you guys to think about the size of the City of Fredericksburg and then think about that number, 242. I'm strongly in support of this, and I urge you guys to do the same. Who knows what difference we're making by having an option, and that's what this is for all localities, is an option. So I'm happy to stand before you in my purpose today, and thank you all for hearing me out.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I have a question about
I'm sorry.
ask the gentleman.
Delegate Wilt, question? Can we stop the timer for the question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sir, if I could ask you, so you've been doing this. What are you currently doing with the firearms that people have turned in?
So they're being turned in, and everybody who turns in a weapon knows that those firearms will be destroyed, and everybody knows this up front. Also, they're sent to the state, to the lab for forensics, and also they're also using these weapons to see, like, if a particular gun was used in a particular type of crime that they don't have a record of, now they know that they know what type of weapon it was based on the tests that they do on it. And please understand this from me as a city councilman that just wanted to do it. All the technicalities actually run through the state.
Awesome, thank you. We'll resume the timer.
Mr. Chairman, Andrew Goddard, Virginia Center for Public Safety. I commend the delegate for bringing this. This is an important issue. Hundreds of thousands of new guns come into the state, into the Commonwealth every year. And we don't have an end-of-life program for those guns. There's no particular way. I have myself handed in 6 guns to be destroyed. And while I was at the police station, a uniformed officer came over to me and said, "You sure you don't want to sell them to me instead?" So that left me with very bad feeling. And I said, no, I don't. I want them destroyed. So this is an excellent way to get those guns out of circulation and into manhole covers.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Lori Haas. I've been working on gun violence prevention policies and programs across the state for too many years, 18 years. Localities often request information on how to do this, when to do this. They need cooperation from law enforcement, and this bill facilitates that so that law enforcement understands how to implement these and how to accommodate these. People, personal phone calls, what do I do with my firearm if I'm ready to get rid of it? How do I do that? So we compliment and appreciate the delegate. Thank you. We hope you pass the bill.
Again, we do have a question from Delegate Helmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We can pause the timer.
Yeah, question for Ms. Haas.
Yes, sir.
I'm just looking carefully at the bill. It does not designate, as it's written right now, any specified period of time. And I just wondered if it's the best practice, like when establishing one of these, is it supposed to be continuous, that anybody can come in and turn a firearm at any time? Is it periodic? Is there a specified best practice? I'm just imagining.
I don't know that there's a specified best practice. Currently, they are events that the locality and the law enforcement office, and in Roanoke, the one that I'm most familiar with, there's a nonprofit that is Groceries for Guns, and they have a program. It's facilitated. That is an event. I don't know if the delegate anticipates this being ongoing, like I could drive into my Henrico County Police office and turn it in on any given day. I don't know the answer. It would make sense to have it ongoing, but I'm not sure.
Awesome. We'll resume the timer.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Mary Kana. On behalf of Every Time for Gun Safety, we are supporting on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Susan Koch. I am from Arlington County. I'm speaking on behalf of both myself and Moms Demand Action. So Arlington County has an ongoing gun turn-in program. You can call the police, they can come to your home and pick up the gun, no questions asked. Some people are reluctant to have the police show up at their home. So in 2024, we hosted our first gun buyback event. We collected 153 guns, including 10 assault weapons from Arlington County. We're looking to do another buyback this year. So I strongly support this bill and feel like our gun buyback program, the turn-in program and the buyback program are both successful. We need to promote them better, and I believe we will get more guns off the streets.
Thank you.
Wendy Ginsburg, City of Alexandria, and we support this bill and thank the delegate.
Thank you. Now moving to opposition. Does anyone in the room wish to speak against the bill? Please form a line, and we will start the clock at 5.
Good afternoon again, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Patricia Webb with VCDL. I'm from Hanover County. To the best of my knowledge, at the present time, without this law, anybody can go to any police station or sheriff's department and turn in any gun that they don't want. The problem with this bill, other than the fact that I'm incredibly insulted by the terms buyback and give back, something that you never owned in the first place or never gave to the general public in the first place, is that it is a bit deceptive and can take advantage of someone, say, in a situation of grief where their spouse died and they discover a gun collection or are not sure what to do with a gun collection and maybe don't have any heirs. I think this bill would be much better if it offered just the normal give to the police department turn-in program, and if it required the police department to take any guns that were of any value and put them up for auction to an FFL, which then anyone that purchased that firearm would go through a normal background check and you would know that they were in responsible hands. That would be an improvement to this bill, in my opinion, rather than destroying potentially valuable property. And Hanover County has seen guns of great value be destroyed. And I have personal knowledge of the persons that have cut those up and cried genuine tears because historical pieces of great value were being destroyed because of laws like this. So I urge you to at least amend the bill to allow for auctioning valuable guns back to FFLs.
Awesome, thank you.
I agree with her, and I oppose.
Thank you.
David Mayer Summer, Liberal Gun Club. I propose a small amendment. In cases of firearms that are stolen, there should be a process to check the serial numbers against known stolen firearms. I also have a concern about the potential of how this could impact wills and probate with guns being turned in that are actually subject to a will or similar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair Clark and members of the subcommittee, I represent the National Rifle Association, and thank you for the opportunity to testify in opposition to House Bill 702. Virginia law already allows any locality that wishes to hold a true voluntary turn-in or so-called under local ordinance, and it already provides a clear path for safe disposition. At a time when Virginia's own crime data shows that violent crime has been declining and law-abiding gun owners are not the source of violence, it makes little sense to prioritize this program that destroys property. These things can be auctioned off and used to fund law enforcement, or they could also be given back to their rightful owners, as the previous gentleman said. From the NRA's perspective, public safety resources would be far better spent on investigation and prosecutions of straw purchasers, traffickers, and felons, not in building a permanent state apparatus whose core mission is to encourage citizens to relinquish their firearms. For these reasons, the NRA respectfully urges the subcommittee to reject House Bill 702.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Andrew Fay, and 20-year Marine veteran, so I've slept with a rifle probably a lot more than everybody here. All right, and I just want to say that this is an opportunity for you guys to actually give back to the vets. Like you all know Chris Kyle, American Sniper. He actually saw the therapeutic value that was in, because most of these guys, you got to remember, like they grew up on that rifle for the majority of their years while their brain was still developing, you know, at the 18 to 24 year range. And that could be very therapeutic for them, and you're just going to destroy these rifles. Not only that, but the value of some of these rifles could actually help Virginia, which I don't understand why we would just decide to destroy rifles because we got to get them out of circulation. That's ridiculous. You know that those rifles could serve Virginia well. And I just got to say this, look, I say this about everything about Virginia. We're not too far north where the crazies live, and we're not too far south where the crazy lives. I know this is where common sense lives. I know it is. So I'm asking you all to sit there and really consider what we're doing, because you know this is revenue. This is revenue. We could put it towards churches. There's all kinds of different things you could do, and it's on you guys to figure it out. But I think we need an amendment, and I think we need it now. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Moving to the online queue, we're going to start with 4, and we have, I hope I say it right, Swami.
Yes, Chair, hello. My name is Ramya Swami. I'm Policy Counsel for the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence, and we support this bill. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Going over to Against Online, starting with the timer, we have Daughtry up first. Oh, did they fall in the room, right? There we go. Mr. Daughtry, are you online?
I am. Sorry, I was just joining as a panelist.
Right.
But Dave Doherty from James City County. I urge the committee to reject this bill. This bill implies that the Commonwealth of Virginia gave us these firearms and agreed to all previous testimony as stated before against this, and including VCDL. Thank you.
Thank you. And if we could turn the volume up a little bit, we're having trouble hearing it.
Just us old people.
No, it's me too. I could. Mr. Hemmings.
Hi, James Hemmings, Fairfax County resident. I agree with the comments by the Virginia Citizens Defense League and oppose this bill. I'm also equally concerned with the language of the bill. The government does not own the property. It never has. It never will. In fact, the Constitution dictates that the government should be limited. Why are so many members and elected politicians twisting words and using it to say it's common sense when it's not common sense? You all have a duty to serve the citizens. This needs to be opposed. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ramirez, you are up next.
Hi, I was looking through the bill on LIS, and to me, it brings up a lot more questions than anything, because I'm looking here and it says that it would be destroyed. All firearm, like any firearm received, would be destroyed. So I don't understand why it's being called a buyback either, because there's no mention of any reimbursement to anyone who turns in a gun. And then I just reading through notes, and I don't want to repeat what anyone else has already said.
Thank you. Moving back to the committee.
Thank you.
Delegate Helmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Speaking to the bill and then make a motion.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is conceptually like really aligned with this bill. I think the idea of having local buyback programs is really strong. I wonder if there's a couple of places where we might work over a couple of days to strengthen the bill. One of them is there's nothing around the periodicity right now in the bill, so you can imagine in some places that someone establishes a buyback program, but it's actually never used, and I think we might be able to strengthen how often that's have. Second, the destroyed is not defined in the bill, and there is some, as the Uber chair was sidebarring with me about, there is some evidence of you probably have to define what destroyed means in order to make sure. And then three, I think this piece about stolen firearms that was brought up in the testimony is actually something that's worth considering. Like, is there a way that we're making sure that somebody's not turning in a stolen firearm, and that we're providing that a turned-in firearm that we know to be stolen does go back to the original owner. So I wonder if you would regard as friendly if I'm motioned to pass this by for the day, give us a little time to work together jointly to amend the bill to just strengthen those couple of components, and then if the chairs will, look back next week.
Mr. Chairman, move that we take this bill by for the day.
Second.
It's been motioned to move and take by for in second, but Delegate Wilt, did you have a question before we
speak to the measure?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate you putting the brakes on it a little bit on this bill. But I would ask, as you're doing that, there's validity in some of the concerns that were expressed here about heirlooms and that kind of thing. I don't know when folks are turning in firearms, sir. I appreciated your testimony. But I don't know if you keep records of what was brought in and so forth. But I think it'd be worth, because there could be some again heirlooms things that aren't firearms that aren't nefarious. And I know that's anybody's definition. But there could be value to do the proper processes that they just don't become destroyed, but actually get turned around and used towards, I don't know, drug addiction, or we got a whole lot of programs that it could possibly help. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. There has been Delegate Simon.
Just real quickly, speak to the motion and just set expectations too for everybody. So we've heard public testimony on this. So when it comes back next week, just so everybody understands, there will be some amendments. We'll have some committee discussion, and depending on how extensive the amendments are, we'll maybe some limited public input, but more likely than not, we've heard from the public about it. We'll do our best. We just don't want to wordsmith this on the fly after 5 o'clock and get it wrong. So just so everybody knows, it'll come back to us for some limited action, and we won't do another full rehearing.
Awesome. Sounds like everyone's concerns have been heard, and we're going to get to work to try to get this in a better posture. The motion has been to pass by for the day and properly second. This is a voice vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. This HB 702 has gone by for the day.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee.
Thank you. All right. Next in the queue is Delegate Hamilton. HB 540.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. I'm presenting House Bill 540, which is a narrowly tailored public safety and victim right bill. The purpose is simple: to ensure that a woman who is a verified victim of family abuse and has a protective order is not forced to choose between obeying the law and protecting herself. Under current Virginia law, there are multiple restricted locations where otherwise lawful firearm possession is prohibited or limited. Right now, Virginia already provides exceptions for law enforcement, certain security personnel, and specific permit holders. HB 540 provides prohibited location restrictions do not apply to a woman who meets both of the following. Number one, she's a current victim of family abuse as defined in Virginia law. And number two, she has an active protective order against a family or household member. This is a narrow exception tied to clear, objective criteria. This is not a vague standard. It does not apply to anyone who just feels unsafe. It's based on a court-issued protective order, meaning there has already been a legal process and judicial finding sufficient to issue protection. This bill recognizes a practical reality. Protective orders are paper. They are important, but they do not stop violence by themselves. In fact, 11% of female intimate partner homicide victims had a protective order prior to their killing. Additionally, minority women are nearly 4 times more likely to be victimized by intimate partner homicide. This bill seeks to empower vulnerable women who have already been victimized, and it helps protect them in a time of turmoil when they feel their very life is at risk. HB 540 doesn't change gun laws for everyone. It changes survival odds for specific verified victims. I hope it will be the will of this committee to empower these vulnerable women in Virginia.
Thank you.
And I'll take questions.
Awesome. Any questions from members of the committee? Delegate Will.
Thank you, Mitt. Did you say Will?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're fine. Okay.
It's that hearing thing again. Delegate, did I hear you right? 11%? Could you repeat that statistic that you
Sure.
stated?
11% of female intimate partner homicide victims already had a protective order in place at the time of their death. And actually, let's see, among those with an order, 20% were killed within 2 days of having that order. 33% within 1 month of having that order issued. So,
Delegate McClure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question for the patron, Delegate Hamilton. Does the delegate know if this language exists in any other state in the nation?
that's a good question. I do not know.
Delegate Simon.
I got a question for I guess, the council rather than the patrons. So it looks to me like this bill only applies to women subject to protective orders, and so it would be specific to a certain gender or sex. Does that give you guys any pause as far as the constitutionality under the Equal Protection Clause? Because I have any concerns about it. That's what you thought about.
Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Delegate, yes, it is certainly a concern on a constitutional basis. Precisely what you mentioned, the Equal Protection Clause. Of course, there is an argument on the other side to that. The Supreme Court has held when it comes to discrimination basis on the basis of gender, which is, well, I'll just say that there is an analysis that can be done to show that it serves a state interest or that the gender in question has a history of being discriminated against in some way or has been, I guess, held down in some way, for lack of a better term. So there is an argument on the other side, but to put it simply, yes, it is absolutely a concern. It is a constitutional concern, and I'm not the court, so I can't speak to anything beyond that, but it's absolutely worth flagging.
Sure. Yeah, I've understood that you can't, Mr. Chairman, that the council can't reach a conclusion about it, but I wanted to raise that, make sure there was an issue you guys had spotted as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Delegate Helmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I just want to make sure that I understand the intent correctly of the bill. So I understand the uber intent, right, is to offer those who have a protective order the opportunity to carry a firearm in some locations. But as I read this right now, this says that a woman who has a protective order can walk into an airport that nobody else can walk into with a firearm and have that firearm, like pass security, all of those things. Same thing in terms of Capitol Square, the firearm. So basically places where we have prescribed firearms more broadly, not just for that individual, that person can walk with a firearm into those locales. Is that?
That's accurate.
Is that accurate? Okay. I'll have comments on the bill at the appropriate time. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Delegate Zier. Oh, your mic isn't on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was going to ask the patron if she would be open to amending this bill to include not just women, but any person who is a current victim of family abuse and so on.
I would be open to that. I tried to make this a narrow bill to focus on the most disproportionately affected class of victims, but I would be open to gender-neutral language if this is a constitutional issue.
Okay. And if there's no more questions from the committee, we're going to move to take in anyone for support of this bill. Please line up. We're going to put 5 minutes on the clock.
Chair Clark and members of the subcommittee, my name is John Weber and I represent the National Rifle Association and our members in Virginia. The NRA supports House Bill 540 and thanks Delegate Hamilton for its introduction. Women who have gone to court and obtained a protective order are often in the most dangerous period of abuse, and the last thing the law should do is strip away their ability to defend themselves. HB 540 helps ensure that current victims of family abuse with protective orders are not made defenseless in public places, airports, or election facilities, but can lawfully carry for self-defense when they are most at risk. This bill also makes rules for carrying in sensitive places more balanced and predictable. It sets clear statewide standards and prevents local governments and agencies from creating their own patchwork of gun regulations beyond what the General Assembly has authorized. For these reasons, the National Rifle Association respectfully urges subcommittee report House Bill 540 favorably. And I would also mention to the earlier questions, there are a number of states that allow for expedited permits for people in this situation, most notably Indiana and Louisiana. There are some others. I can work to get that to you if you're interested.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Patricia Webb, Virginia Citizens Defense League. Statistics show that the early stages when someone leaves an abusive relationship is when they are at the most risk for attack and murder by the abuser. Statistics also show that if that victim of domestic abuse fights back, that their chances of survival increase dramatically. And if they have a firearm and know how to use it and use that to defend themselves against their attacker, their chances of survival go up exponentially. Waiting for a permit can cost somebody their lives, and it has cost many lives in many states around the country. This bill addresses that problem and creates a situation where the victims of domestic violence and of abuse have a way to defend themselves against a known abuser. I would also point out that there are many circumstances, even here in Virginia, where people have been murdered by abusers, that they have gotten the courage to leave, and that abuser goes to their work or to some other place where they know that that victim will be disarmed and chooses that place to attack them because they know that that person has no means to defend themselves. So I urge you to look upon this bill favorably. Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree with her.
Thank you.
I know I got a short time, so I'm just gonna, I don't know if you guys know who the Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Cooper is. Anybody? All right. If violent crime is to be curbed, it is only the intended victim who can do it. The felon does not fear the police, and he fears neither the judge nor jury. Therefore, what he must be taught to fear is the victim. I think you all understand what I mean by this, is that they're gonna do it anyway. And this is gonna protect someone. And this is lives. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Cameron Hamilton, here to speak in favor of the bill. It is my hope that this committee will actually vote in consent to the language or possibly the amendment introduced or offered by Delegate Zier. As a former first responder, as a former senior official in various different government positions, also as a firearms instructor and as a military paramedic, I can tell you that I've held survivors of some of the most awful circumstances known to man. And also as an individual with a background in mixed martial arts and many different forms of combatives, I will tell you very clearly there is only one great equalizer when women are facing a significant effort to assault and harm her. This would be empowering to women. This would be an opportunity to provide those who need help the most in a very unique and atypical situation to level the playing field. So I strongly urge you to speak in support of this. And I've spoken to many different individuals who've been survivors of domestic abuse, and they adamantly support this language as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving over to all that oppose the bill, please come and stand in line, and we will put 5 minutes on the clock.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Lori Haas. We oppose the bill. There's a host of reasons that we oppose the bill. Number one, studies show that when a firearm is introduced into domestic violence situations, that the likelihood that the victim is going to be killed increases 500%. It's data, it's fact, you can find it everywhere. Number two, this body passed a bill the last 2 years that would ensure that firearms are removed from respondents in protective order situations. This body passed it. Unfortunately, it was vetoed by the former governor. We anticipate seeing that bill again. This body will be seeing it. It ensures that the respondent in a family abuse protective order is in fact disarmed. He has to go to court, he has to prove to court, law enforcement will have to have their paperwork, and that person will be disarmed. Number two, the places contemplated, most of the places contemplated in this bill prohibit firearms in the first place. So I don't see the need for this bill. It puts women in danger. It doesn't talk about training. It doesn't talk about response. It doesn't talk about anything. Our law enforcement officers undergo hundreds of hours, hundreds, to be able to carry a firearm in public, to be able to use that responsibly, to have muscle memory, to be able to shoot. And yet, studies show in active shooter situations, they hit their target maybe 25% of the time. This endangers too many people. We oppose the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Andrew Goddard, Virginia Center for Public Safety. First of all, I'll say that I have tremendous sympathy for anyone who's a subject of domestic or interpersonal violence. But this thing raises some real-world questions. First question I would have is, those people who are killed, those victims who are killed with a gun, were they in any of those locations that this is going to cover? Did their abuser wait till they went to the polls or waited until they went to an airport? The second very, very extensively researched thing is that when a woman uses a firearm to defend herself against her abuser, chances are in the court case that the pattern of abuse over a long period of time prior to the event will not be admissible. And therefore, it's been shown that women who are convicted of using a firearm to defend themselves in that situation end up with very long jail sentences. It can be much as double the sentence of a person who actually killed their spouse that they were abusing. So this is a real-world problem, and I think this bill is not ready for prime time.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chantal Rock, and I oppose this bill. I am a domestic violence survivor. I did have a 3-year restraining order. We did consider getting a weapon to protect me and my children from my domestic abuser. but the only thing it was going to do was make it worse. So I want to speak against this bill, because the only thing it was going to do for me and my family was going to cause me to end up in jail and or killed by my abuser, who has significant experience with weapons. So as a domestic survivor of domestic abuse, I'm getting tongue-tied, I wasn't prepared to talk today, but this will not be a good bill for women, because you're emotional during this time. And when your attacker is coming after you, you don't know who you would shoot. You don't know who you would kill. So it's not a good bill for women. I mean, more thoughts need to go in there, and you need to talk to more domestic abusers or domestic survivors who've been through abuse to understand the traumatic and everything that we go through mentally. So having a weapon in the house during that time is not good at all for yourself or for your kids.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Jennifer Faison, and I'm here representing the Virginia Association of Community Services Boards, and we do have concerns about how this would play out in a treatment environment, such as a crisis stabilization unit, routine outpatient clinics for individuals who are experiencing behavioral health issues. The other thing related to that is we're not clear how we would verify that this protective order is in place, and for that reason, we oppose the bill.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Federa. I represent the Virginia Network of Private Providers, and I support what Ms. Faison just said. We are concerned about the clinical environment where someone may come in with a weapon.
Thank you. Moving online, those for the bill, please make sure your camera is on. First up is Vic Nichols.
In 2019, 13% of Virginia domestic violence perps were women. That doesn't include same-sex relationships. Nationally, studies suggest that approximately 1 in 7 men will experience sexual assault in their lifetime. Carol Bone, a 39-year-old hairdresser from Berlin, New Jersey, was murdered by her ex-boyfriend waiting for her firearm permit to be processed. It was past the 30-day legal limit for processing. Isra Gabe, a 21-year-old makeup artist from the Beit Zahar village near Bethlehem, last month lost her life due to an honor killing. We need protection. Thank you.
Thank you. Next in the queue is Daughtry. Mr. Daughtry.
Yes, Dave Doherty from James City County. I urge you to vote in favor of this common sense bill to help any Virginia woman or person who has protective orders. Abusers will not pay attention to gun-free zones. There's no magic barrier that's going to stop a firearm from entering. Not even a firearm, but a knife or some other object that could be a deadly weapon. This will allow victims to defend themselves, if necessary, against any deadly weapon, not just firearms.
Thank you. And next in the queue is Mr. Ramirez.
I'm in support of this bill. As you know, the maximum wait time to issue a concealed handgun permit in this state is 45 days. Mine took 2 weeks to be approved and another 2 weeks to be sent in the mail. And I got it, so roughly 30 days. That's a lot of time for anything to happen. And as stated by the delegate earlier, anything can happen, and it usually happens quite quickly. And just to counter some points on the opposition, no one's forcing you to get a gun. No one's saying that you have to go get a gun to defend yourself. It's just an option for you if you are willing to do so, but also the training required for you to be proficient with it, that is also on the person. But at the same time, you are not if you want the gun, if you need the gun, you should be afforded that option, but no one's forcing you to. If you don't want it, it's fine. But I support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving over to against the bill, Swami, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to testify. My name is Ramya Swami, Policy Counsel for Brady, and we oppose the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving back to members of the committee, Delegate Helmer.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, speaking to the bill on that motion.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate.
Okay. Thank you.
Promoted, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I appreciate the delegates' commitment to protecting victims of domestic violence. I think it's something we all share up here. My concerns about the bill are practical in that we have a number of areas that we have designated to be off limits to firearms. And particularly in protected areas like airports or in the Capitol, I don't know how security personnel can know that somebody who has a firearm is somebody who ought to have a firearm versus not. And I could see it posing a danger to both them and to other people. I'd be happy to have an ongoing conversation about how we could address that. I know they brought up Indiana. It seems like there's a permit process there, but there are a number of practical issues to make sure we're protecting the potential victim rather than putting them in a different area of vulnerability where they actually might be subjected to the security measures in those places and things like that because they're carrying a firearm at that time. And I just think that the various policy implications, how you would implement this successfully, are such that we should probably hit the pause button on this and look at how we can evaluate this policy in the future. So with that, I will move to lay this bill on the table. Second.
There is a motion to lay the bill on the table and properly seconded. Delegate McClure, did you want to speak to the?
I'll amend my motion since someone wants to speak. I'll move to pass by the bill indefinitely, so there's time to speak.
Okay, that gives us 2 minutes. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, comment on the motion at the appropriate time.
The time is now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I have a number of concerns with the bill that have already been stated, and for that reason, I'll support the motion. But I also wanted to express that I appreciate the patrons' concern for survivors of domestic abuse, and I see your passion for it. And, in that vein, I would love to collaborate with the patron and the folks in the room who have provided a number of different statistics around domestic abuse and firearms. And, there are a couple of bills that are moving through the General Assembly, including my own, that would actually protect domestic abuse survivors from known convicted domestic abusers. So I invite you all to collaborate on those bills that are moving through, and I appreciate your concern. So I just wanted to state that comment for the record. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And Delegate Wilt, did you have a comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, speaking. So,
Mr. Chair,
before us.
It's a point of order. I'm sorry, but motion to pass by. There's 2 minutes per. So
per side.
Per side. So up to you, but Delegate Wilt or Delegate Hamilton, who wants to take those 2 minutes? I just want to sort of make you aware, since I know you're new. Generally, we defer to the patron for the 2 minutes, but you can obviously defer to somebody else as well.
I'm pretty sure the patron will probably want the last words. Unless you want to give.
Defer to Delegate Wilt, please.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll be brief and yield to the patron, but yeah, I just want to tell everybody thank for their thoughtful consideration of the bill. A survivor of domestic abuse, that's a relative term. To think deeply about what it means to be a survivor, and remember that 11%. That was striking. 11%. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Delegate Hamilton.
Thank you very much. I did want to make one note that protective orders are already entered into Virginia's law enforcement databases, so that's how you would verify it. And then last note, I would say, I think there was commonality in the comments that people were concerned that a victimized woman would be able to carry in a place where other people were not. But however, many times women are killed by being strangled or beaten or stabbed. We're not just trying to get firearms out of abusers' hands. We're trying to protect women. So I appreciate you guys' consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. The motion to pass by indefinitely, there has been a motion to pass by indefinitely and properly second. This is a recorded vote. The clerk shall open the roll. Clerk will close the roll. HB 540 has passed by indefinitely on a vote of 7-3. Thank you, Delegate Hamilton.
Thank you.
Up next is Delegate Ballard. You have HB 101.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, or I guess good evening at this point, members of the committee. So HB 101, I think it's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. It was brought to me by my local clerk. I think this is one of the, I don't know if priorities is the word, but it was some of their preferred legislation from the Circuit Court Clerks Association. And so my local clerk asked me to do this because I don't know if there was some confusion or they just wanted to clean it up. Basically, so this bill just removes the words "in writing" on line 13, just to make it clear in the code that you can apply for CHPs online. And that's really all it does. So it's not necessarily, it's not a pro-gun bill, it's not an anti-gun bill, it's literally just cleaning up the code for what clerks across the Commonwealth already do. And I believe the clerk from Suffolk is here and can explain to you their process, but it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So I'll yield to the clerk from Suffolk.
Thanks. My name is Randy Carter. I'm the clerk of the Circuit Court of the City of Suffolk and represent the Virginia Court Clerks Association. Basically what this bill is that certain clerks use a program called Promedium, which is a totally online type of program. I don't use it. It slows me down. I can do them faster than that computer program can. I can prove it. But what we want to do is it says in writing, and this would allow electronic filing on that thing. It would also not go past Promedium. Certain clerks have e-filing systems, and if you do this, they could use the e-filing system that the clerk has as well if he doesn't use Promedium. So I think there are two ways that you can approach this thing. So I'll be happy to answer any questions about this that any of the committee members may have.
Thank you. Delegate Wells.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A question for the patron.
Delegate Wells.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So to be clear to us and everybody interested, so what you're proposing, Delegate, is you're not going or doing an end around on the processes. We know there are a list of processes to get a concealed carry permit. You're not trying to water anything down, eliminate anything. You're just making the initial application, being able to do it online. You're still going to have to go and get all the other qualifications. I don't put words in your mouth. I'm asking. Thank you.
No, Mr. Chairman, Delegate Wilt. I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, I think people in this committee know me. I'm a man of my word. This is not some sneaky end around, and this is already being done. Clerks are already doing this. So it's not even creating something new. It's just clarifying in the code that clerks can do this, and they're already doing it. So it's not a sneaky bill. It's not a way to get more CHPs in the hands of individuals across the Commonwealth. It's literally a cleanup bill, and it was brought to me by the Circuit Clerks Association. Quite frankly, otherwise I wouldn't have done it. My local clerk asked me to do it, and so here I am.
Delegate Gardner. Your mic.
Sorry about that. Thank you. On line 19, you also strike shall and insert may. Does that have a significant impact on the application process?
Sure. Mr. Chair, Delegate, I'll yield to the clerk.
May I, ma'am? Thank you.
Sure.
Chairman.
Yes.
Basically what that is that on the applications right now it is optional that you can put your email address down on that thing. That email address means that within 6 months of the expiration of that permit, you get an email from the state police saying like you get from the DMV, just like a driver's license. I use it myself. It works. And frankly, I wish people, I tell everybody come in and put the thing down. And let me just take one thing that all of these documents for concealed weapon permits are under seal. People cannot walk into my clerk's office and pull an application up and say, oh, Randy Carter's email address is this, or Randy Carter this, or that. I'm using myself. So, but I'll defer to whatever the delegate wants to do, but that's why we have that there. And it's a good program, and I think it does work.
Delegate Helmer.
Mr. Chair, a question for the patron. I don't know how this would influence public testimony on this, but you would feel okay if we made a motion to report this. Is that fair?
Mr. Chair, to the delegate, yes.
Delegate Simon, I think he had.
Yeah, I'm agnostic about whether reports or not. I just can't help myself. Sorry, but I don't think the bill does anything. Just to be honest with you, I don't think it hurts to pass it or not. I think that and I get this from clerks associations and clerks on land record stuff too, I think an electronic submission is in writing if you type something in there. So I don't think in writing precludes online anyway. And then I don't think there's any actual difference between shall request but not require versus saying may. I think shall request but not require is the same thing as saying may. It's just, frankly, if you're going to make that change, my suggestion would be you get rid of the but not require, because may captures that. If you're trying to shorten the number of words, but I think this is a happy to glad kind of a change. I don't think it makes any difference. If it makes the clerks happier, by all means, but I don't know if this does a whole lot. So it probably didn't help the conversation. I just couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I am on the civil sub with Chairman Simon, so I can appreciate his comments there. And I agree with him, quite frankly. I don't think it makes any difference one way or the other. But again, the clerks want this bill, I think, just to make it a little clearer for them.
Delegate Helmer.
Mr. Chair, if it's the pleasure of the chair, I know we generally defer to public testimony, but I would make the motion to report.
Second. There's a motion to report and properly seconded. This is a recorded vote. Madam Clerk, can you open the roll? Awesome. You can close the roll. HB 101 reports out on a vote of 10-1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
Awesome. You have another bill up, HB 106.
I do, Mr. Chairman, HB 106. Again, it's a simple bill, but it may generate a little more discussion and possible opposition. But it simply just reduces the maximum fee that local law enforcement may charge to conduct the background check. It takes it from $35 to $10, and then reduces the total amount for a permit application from $50 to $25. And so, kind of a tongue-in-cheek comment, I think everyone agrees affordability is a good thing now, and so it's saving some people money. But I'm also keenly aware that this one may get some opposition.
Awesome. Moving to members of the committee, any questions? All right, come into the public. Oh, yes, Delegate Lopez.
My question is about whether or not the counties or the cities have actually talked about what the impact will be on their actual bottom line in terms of, I think in 2019 there were 100,000 concealed carry applications, and that would be, at $35, it's $3.5 million in revenue for localities, some poor, smaller localities, especially the ones that have considerably more concealed carry permits, and maybe South Side, Southwest Virginia, losing a few $100,000 in revenue, that's a big deal. Have you gotten any pushback in that regard?
Mr. Chairman, Delegate Lopez, I have not received any pushback from my localities. As you all know, we get thousands of emails during session, so I can't sit here with a straight face and tell you that I haven't received opposition, but I can tell you my localities have not raised any concerns over that.
Delegate Pope Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Question for the patron.
Delegate has it.
The way it's currently written, it says a charge that may not exceed. So I just need a little clarity in understanding why that threshold needs to be lowered when it sounds like a locality has the option already to charge less than.
Mr. Chairman, to the delegate's question, and I'm certainly happy to defer to council on this. I mean, the way I read it is the way the change in that statute is that's going to set the ceiling that they can charge. So that new number would be the ceiling.
Okay, follow-up question,
Yes,
if I may.
Delegate Pope Adams.
Are there any localities in the Commonwealth who charge less than the 35 max?
Mr. Chairman, I mean, that's a good question. I don't know the answer. I think the answer is yes, but I don't want to tell you with certainty as I stand here the answer is yes, but I'm pretty sure.
All right, Mr. Chair, it looks
I think
like
you can
the
phone a friend.
Clerk, yes.
There you go.
From the great city of Suffolk.
Excuse me, Randy Carter, Virginia Court Clerks. Yes, there are that charge less. I know some that charge around $35 right now. $35. I would say we did 2,500 concealed weapon permits in Suffolk last year. So and this totally falls on the locality. I just want to point out one thing. By the statute, concealed weapons permits process is very time limited. We got 45 days from the time that thing rolls in to getting it out the door. Now, the clerk is sort of in charge of it. Once I send it to the police department or the sheriff's department, I'm sort of at their mercy. And then if it has to go to the Commonwealth's attorney's office to be signed off, I'm at the mercy of the Commonwealth's attorney. And then I'm at the mercy of the sheriff. I mean, even if the local police does it, the sheriff has the right to sign off on the application. That is, and so what happens is that you have to sort of put these on the front burner to get these things done, and the police department, so they can, because when 45 days hits, I don't care who it is, they're going to get a temporary concealed weapon permit that's good for 90 days or until the court acts on it one way or another. And I, as a clerk, I think I'm giving something to someone that allows them to do something that not everybody out there walking around can do, and that's have a concealed weapon. And I take very seriously my position in this, that I want to make sure that the people that have them should have them. If you are able to have them, absolutely come on down. I'd love to have you, but I just want to be sure that I'm sort of the gatekeeper on this thing. So I am concerned that we want to keep this process rolling locally. And yes, and there's a lot of concealed weapon permits. So I have to say that look at the it's all going to fall on the locality. My police department doesn't, my sheriff's department doesn't. So that's where they go. But my police department's very good because they put them on the front burner. I get a 5-day turnaround out of these guys. And so that's important. And that I need that 5 days to push them, to be able to push this thing around. So I'm not trying to torpedo the man too bad here, but you asked a question. Yes, there are less. And the city, every year, the cities and localities set the fee schedule for various certain things. They'll set the local concealed weapon thing. So actually, you've got 2 bites at this apple. You can come here, or you can go to your board of supervisors or your city council and say, hey, guys, you're overcharging me. Won't you charge less money? So, so you have 2 avenues here, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. I think that was all the questions from the committee. Move into, if anyone is in support of the bill, please come up to the podium. We are going to limit to 4 minutes just because the hour is getting late. So if we can put 4 minutes up.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. To clarify a little bit, what the law says is that the state police can charge $5, the clerk shall charge $5, and the local law enforcement that does the background check may charge up to $35 to process the criminal history check. That law was written back when fingerprinting was required, and $25 of that $35 was to cover the fingerprinting. Fingerprinting is no longer required, nor is it necessary. And to answer the question about localities that charge less, currently charging $15, the minimum that is required by law, are Accomack, Allegheny, Appomattox, Bedford, Brunswick, Buckingham, Campbell, Carroll, and my phone won't scroll, but there's a number of localities that charge $15, the minimum, and that's required by law. We also, VCDL, has surveyed several sheriff's departments to ask them, how much time does it actually take to process the background check for a concealed handgun permit? And the vast majority of them are done digitally and go through almost instantly. And it takes very little time per application. There are a few that require more investigation, but that is not the norm, that is the exception. So this law is well overdue. Honestly, we should not have to pay to exercise a right. We should not have to pay to put a coat on when we're carrying a firearm. And I urge you to look on this bill favorably. Thank you very much, and I thank the patron for bringing it.
Thank you.
I support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair and members of the subcommittee, John Weber with the NRA. We support this bill. These are meaningful savings that will ease the financial burden on Virginians who seek to exercise their Second Amendment right. Thank you.
Thank you. All in against opposing the bill, please come up. 4 minutes on the calendar, on the clock.
Mr. Chairman, Andrew Goddard, Virginia Center for Public Safety. I point out that this is not a fishing license. This is a license to give you the ability to ignore a law or to be outside of a law. This is a very serious thing. If I have to pay $60 over a 5-year period to be able to fish, but nobody's going to end up be dead if they make a mistake and let me fish when I shouldn't do. But if we get mistakes in this kind of thing, then somebody could end up being given a permit and then misusing it. So I think that the fee should be based upon the actual cost that it takes. But I can't see that once every 5 years, paying $10 or $20 is not sufficient to get all that work done to make sure that this permit lands in the hand of somebody who's definitely entitled to it.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Mary Kana. On behalf of Everytown for Gun Safety, we oppose this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. I'm Mike Fox. I'm a volunteer with Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America, and we oppose this bill.
Thank you. Moving on to the online queue, we're going to start with for the bill. Please make sure your camera is on. Vic Nichols, you're first. 4 minutes on the clock.
Chesapeake, the second largest Virginia city, dropped their fee because of me and was able to resolve the loss in funding because it was so small. States' power to impose fees on the exercise of a constitutional right is very limited. A FOIA of the steps shows this is a revenue generator which violates federal law on multiple court cases. Cox v. New Hampshire, Southern Oregon Barter Fair v. Jackson City in the Ninth Circuit, Murdoch v. Penn, Northeast Ohio Coalition for the Homeless v. City of Cleveland. The state may not impose a charge for the enjoyment of a right granted by the U.S. Constitution, as a fee imposed on the general exercise of a constitutional right cannot be a general revenue tax, but is only lawful is designed to meet the expense incident to the Act's administration. While a tier of scrutiny applies, it was developed for First Amendment litigation. Bruin removed that as there is no historical analog on permitted fees. Right now, Virginia is in violation of federal law. Thank you.
Mr. Daughtry, thank you.
Yes, Dave Doherty from James City County. I urge you to vote in favor of this common sense bill to help Virginians afford concealed carry permits, especially in our current economy. Applying for the permit requires course, time, and fiscal resources already, and this will help Virginians. And also, as stated, this is a tax on our rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hemmings.
Hi, James Hemmings, Fairfax County resident. I agree with the comments submitted by VCDL and strongly support this bill. We're currently living in a cost of living crisis, and firearm ownership has been cost prohibitive. You have to purchase a gun, you have to purchase ammunition, you have to complete training, which is hundreds of dollars. This can easily add up to $1,000. Those who most need to be able to defend themselves live in lower income communities, and the cost of exercising a constitutionally protected right should not exceed the cost that it actually charged, that is charged. This bill, it helps ensure that citizens can exercise their Second Amendment right without undue financial burden. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ramirez.
I'm in support of this bill, and looking at lines 20 and 21 of the bill, it currently says shall not exceed 50, Arlington County, and I paid $50, so just point of reference. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Wren.
Hello, I strongly support this bill as well. I'm an out-of-state resident. My out-of-state permit costs $50. I think this fee should be zero. I don't believe that the government should profit off me being able to exercise a basic natural right. So I'll take 25 because it's better than 50, but I strongly support the bill.
Thank you. Moving over to opposition, Swami, you're up first.
Hi all, thank you. My name is Ramya Swami. I'm Policy Counsel for the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence, and we oppose this bill.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Earp.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Erin Earp. I'm Senior Policy Counsel with the Giffords Law Center, and we oppose this bill.
Thank you. Coming back to members of the committee, Delegate Wilt.
I'd like to report the bill at the appropriate time, Mr. Chairman.
Substitute motion, Mr. Chair.
Delegate Helmer.
Move to PBI.
This gives 2 minutes.
Second.
There has been a motion to PBI and properly second. This is you have 2 minutes, Delegate Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Happy to yield to one of my colleagues if they're interested in saying something, but I'll be very brief. again, I think this is just a cost-saving measure. I agree with some of the comments that was said in support of it, not all, but literally it's just reducing the fee. It's going to save people, law-abiding citizens that are applying for this permit. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. So I understand where it's going. I appreciate the committee listening to the testimony and support, but I would ask that the committee look favorably upon it in spite of the current pending motion.
Thank you. Clerk will open the roll. This is a recorded vote. Clerk shall close the roll. HB 106 has passed by indefinitely on a vote of 7-3. Thank you, Delegate Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Also, moving to the committee, we have Delegate Zier. And I believe you have 3 bills up. We can start with HB 691.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Committee, good evening. So House Bill 691 would bring Virginia Code into better alignment with recent U.S. Supreme Court guidance. And at odds with the U.S. Supreme Court is Virginia's code section, which enables local prohibition of the possession, carrying, and transportation of firearms in public parks and public spaces being used for or adjacent to permitted events. This bill eliminates the exemptions that permit local ordinances banning firearms in parks and in public right-of-ways during permitted events. This change is necessary because parks, which often have little to no security in permitted events, do not qualify as sensitive government areas under the U.S. Supreme Court's 2022 ruling. Taking away an innocent person's ability to protect themselves in these locations will never make them safer, particularly in parks, where remote areas and hiding places can pose risks for serious crimes like assault, theft, and rape. Moreover, the current language on permitted events is so poorly drafted that it could absurdly require a gun store on an affected street to remove all firearms from the premises and post a no-gun sign during the event. This legislation solves these issues while aligning the state with Supreme Court rulings. Thank you for considering this.
Thank you. Moving to the committee, any questions for the patron? Delegate Helmer.
So, Mr. Chair, just a question for the patron, just to be clear, the impact of adopting this legislation would be that places like Fairfax County, where today you can't carry a pistol into a playground, you would be able to do that if we were to act favorably on this bill.
If it is a public park, yes, or if it is a permitted event. So if Fairfax issues a permit, then we're making it consistent so that people know they can carry. They don't have to leave it in the car out by the street in a permitted event. So you end up with this this line of cars that have firearms in them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving to any members. I'm sorry, it's getting late. Is anyone here in support of the bill? Please get in line, and we'll put 4 minutes on the clock. You can start. Yes.
Good evening. I'm Steve Birnbaum, IDF veteran, CEO of Collective Threat Response Initiative, a nonprofit security organization supporting the Jewish community across the D.C. region. We've been entrusted with securing Jewish events, including the National Menorah Lighting in D.C. The security needs of the Jewish community don't stop at the synagogue perimeter. Across Virginia, including Arlington, Alexandria, and Fairfax, menorah lightings, vigils, and other Jewish community gatherings are permitted events, often held in parks or government spaces. As a result, they fall squarely under the current prohibitions. Under existing law, there is no exemption for private security hired by the Jewish community itself, leaving us with very few options. At the same time, police staffing shortages have made off-duty officer details increasingly unavailable, and many synagogues have simply stopped even requesting them. The eruption of anti-Semitism post-October 7th has changed the world for American Jews. Holocaust survivor Karen Diamond was murdered in Boulder during a flamethrower attack at a public gathering of Jews in a park. This event would have fallen under this ban in Virginia. The Bondi Beach attack demonstrates that public menorah lightings are exactly the kind of complex, highly visible events that require meaningful security, especially in open public spaces with no buildings, doors, or fences. I have personally heard from Jews who will not attend public events unless they know adequate security is in place. Current law bans that in public spaces. The concerns are not just limited to organized events. Jews are increasingly being targeted individually in public spaces. Some now hide visible signs of Jewish identity, and a prominent DC rabbi has taken to hiring a protective detail simply to walk around the streets of DC. If the language in its current form is not acceptable, then I would encourage some alternative solutions, such as an exemption for security for events, including both paid security as well as vetted members of minority and religious communities that are vulnerable. Alternatively, an enhanced concealed carry permit could provide another solution to this. Thank you, and I appreciate the threat. The threat to the Jewish community is real under this, and unfortunately, we live it on a daily basis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Mr. Chair. Patricia Webb, VCDL. I'm from Hanover. I ran a convenience store for over 30 years, and people in my neighborhood thought we had a lot of cash. We did not, but that's not the point. They thought we had a lot of cash. A friend of mine who also ran a convenience store came home one day, and there was somebody in her yard that robbed them at gunpoint. When my kids were young, I carried a gun everywhere I went, and that included the playground, because if there was a threat, if somebody tried to rob us, or God forbid, somebody tried to take my kids, I wanted a way to defend them and to protect them. It is my responsibility as a parent and as an adult to do that. And this bill fixes a problem because adult parents these days do not have the ability to defend their children in a park that has a playground. So they're forced to choose to not defend them or to go somewhere else and not enjoy the park that their funds, their taxes pay for. I urge you to look favorably upon this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
I say something a lot longer. My name is Regina Payton. I live in the Carver area, and I'm a low-income resident, and I support this bill.
Thank you.
Chair, members of the committee, John Weber with NRA. We support House Bill 91 and thank Delegates Ayer for its introduction. This bill will strengthen Virginia's state-level control over gun laws by tightening limiting situations where local governments can ban firearms. It keeps our ability to restrict carry in clearly defined government buildings, parks, and recreation community centers, but makes clear that authority does not stretch beyond those specific places. For gun owners and law enforcement, this means fewer confusing local rules that can turn otherwise law-abiding Virginians into accidental criminals just for crossing a county or city line. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Those in opposition of the bill, please come up. We'll have 4 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Mark Flynn on behalf of the Municipal League. Post-Bruin, the Supreme Court decision, there's been a circuit court case in Fairfax, actually, that upheld the right for localities under the Constitution to prohibit firearms. We just think that this is very much a reasonable public safety thing consistent with the Constitution. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Mike Fox, a volunteer with Moms Demand Action. At least 20 localities across Virginia have enacted firearms ordinances, including Albemarle County, where I live, and Charlottesville City, where I work. So we oppose this bill.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Andrew Goddard for Virginia Center for Public Safety. We oppose any attacks on that are going to return us to preemption. And I have a proxy from my colleague, Laurie Haas.
Thank you.
Chairman and members of the committee, Wendy Ginsberg from the city of Alexandria, and we respectfully oppose this bill because it removes the local option. Thank you.
Thank you. Going to the online queue, we're going to start with Ms. Vic Nichols.
I think we need to support this before we're sued and waste taxpayers' money. It also violates any General Assembly member oath to obey the Constitution if you disagree with this, because SCOTUS has already made it clear what's supposed to happen. So you need to make sure that we are in accordance with that federal law. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Daughtry.
I urge you to vote in favor of this bill for the reasons Delegates there and VCDL provided. Constitution says shall not be infringed, along with the SCOTUS, and I ask that you vote in favor of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wren.
I'm in favor of this bill. There is no world in which a restriction with a sign that says "Don't come here with a gun" makes any sense to protect you. All it does is create a vulnerable place for people that can't. I used to jog the Accotink Trail in Fairfax. A few years ago, there was a gruesome murder there. If I happened to be passing by, I would have been defenseless and as a witness to a murder and potentially murdered myself. So I don't appreciate not being able to carry my pistol when I have a license to do so, just because it's in a place that somebody else says that they don't think it would be a good idea for me to have it. It's patently unfair to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hemmings.
James Hemmings, Fairfax resident. I'm here to support HB 691, and I also support the comments by VCDL. These locations are not sensitive government places, and prohibiting lawful carry in them raises serious constitutional concerns. In the New York State Rifle Pistol Association versus Brewham, the U.S. Supreme Court made clear that firearm regulations are constitutional only if they're consistent with this nation's historical tradition of regulation. The court recognized a very limited category of sensitive places, such as courthouses, chambers, and restrictions where there's deep historical roots tied to core government functions. None of these areas fall into that category. There is no historical tradition of banning firearms in these everyday public locations, and the court specifically warned states about expanding sensitive places doctrine so broadly that it effectively nullifies the right to self-defense. Moreover, as we know, criminals do not follow the law. Restrictions on lawful carry only affect those who obey it. A criminal intent on committing violence will not be deterred by lawful carry restrictions. It's quite simply common sense. In 2022, a toddler and man were tragically killed in a playground in Germany by a terrorist. Playgrounds are exactly the type of public locations where responsible concealed carry should be allowed. Concealed carry permit holders are among the most law-abiding segments of society, committing fewer crimes on average than the general population and even police officers. There's no public safety justification for disarming trained and vetted permit holders in these locations. Simply put, HB 691 brings Virginia back into alignment with the U.S. Constitution while leaving intact truly sensitive government locations. I respectfully ask everyone to support HB 691 and follow your oath in obeying the U.S. Constitution. Thank you for your time and service to the Commonwealth.
Thank you. Moving over to against, Ms. Swami.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ramya Swami, Policy Counsel for the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence, and we oppose this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Erb.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Erin Erb. I'm here on behalf of the Giffords Law Center. We oppose this bill. This week, the panel of the Fourth Circuit in the decision of Kripke versus Moore was evaluating Maryland sensitive places law and upheld their provision that prohibits guns in state parks and forests. It's clear that this existing statute is constitutional, and it is also good policy that keeps people safe. And for those reasons, we oppose this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving back to members of the committee, Delegate Helmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Move to PBI.
There has been a motion to PBI and properly seconded.
Speaking of that motion, let's
Delegate
keep
Helmer.
guns out of playgrounds where localities want to do that. This bill would have the effect of making that impossible to do. I'll yield to any of my colleagues who want to speak for it.
And then, speaking of that as well, and then festivals where you need permits on streets in communities when you have annual events, or you have annual events for kids, or zoo days, or the circus day, where you have a special permit, and then all of a sudden you're simply allowing guns to be in that situation. I think it's counter to common sense.
Thank you. Delegate Oates. Delegate Zier, did you want to yield some time to Delegate Oates? You have 2 minutes.
Oh, you want some time?
Yes.
I just wanted to, I was actually going to make a motion. I had pushed my button early to make a motion to report. So, but I would like to say that at festivals, specifically in the minority religious area, I think that there should be the ability to defend themselves against what are the inability to defend yourself. You're just a sitting duck. So that's all I'll say with that.
Thank you. Delegate Zier, did you want the last minute?
Thank you. So, yeah, I would just reiterate some of the comments made in the testimony that by creating gun-free zones, we create areas where bad guys are not staying out. They're not obeying those laws. So we're creating areas where the law-abiding are sitting ducks. They're vulnerable there. So that is why I brought this bill. I want to eliminate areas that are going to be targets for the bad guys. But thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. The motion to PBI has been properly seconded. This is a recorded vote. Madam Clerk, please open the roll. Awesome. Madam Clerk, you can close the roll. HB 691 has passed by indefinitely on a vote of 7-3. Delegate Zier, you have another bill.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
For House Bill 692, that's identical to Delegate Ballard's House Bill 106, which you've already defeated, so I move that we lay that bill on the table.
Second.
There has been a motion to lay HB 692. It's the same bill as HB 106, which was already laid on the table, and it was probably seconded. This is a voice vote. This is a recorded vote. Madam Clerk, you should open the roll. Madam Clerk, you can close the roll. HB 692 has been tabled on a vote of 7-3. Delegate Zier, you have one more bill, HB 696.
Thank you. So currently, our citizens are prohibited from carrying firearms onto government-owned property in places, for example, like this building, where, of course, we have great security. We're well-staffed by well-equipped law enforcement officers, but the same can't be said for two kinds of government-owned properties in our Commonwealth. One, isolated highway rest areas where travelers, often women and families, traveling alone at night, stop with no security whatsoever. And secondly, Virginia ABC stores, which are simply state-run retail shops, otherwise similar to grocery or convenience stores next door where carry is already legal. Since the law prohibiting otherwise lawful firearm carrying in these locations took effect, we've seen real-world consequences. December 21, 4 people shot and seriously wounded at the I-81 rest area in Frederick County when Good Samaritans who tried to help a domestic violence victim had no lawful means to defend themselves or others. The kind of armed protection we have in here does not exist at those locations, where there is very rarely police presence, yet more than 600,000 law-abiding concealed carry handgun permit holders in Virginia who have passed background checks are forced to disarm the moment they pull off the interstate or walk into an ABC store. This bill simply restores the same carry rights that already exist in private retail stores and parking lots to those two uniquely vulnerable government-operated locations. It is an evidence-based correction that puts the safety of Virginians, especially travelers and late-night shift retail workers, first, as we strive to make our state a safer place. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the committee for the patron? Seeing none, moving to the audience. Is there anyone here in support of the bill? Please come up and speak. You have 4 minutes on the clock.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. ABC stores and rest areas are not sensitive places. But what you are doing is creating a situation where people who do carry every day, who are good, honest people, who have taken the training, and they choose for whatever personal reason to carry a firearm with them, if they have to go to DMV to get a title on a vehicle or some other purpose that they must appear in person, they're forced to leave their firearm in their vehicle. They're forced to leave it where a criminal can get it. You are creating these zones that are essentially shopping centers for criminals to get firearms and for people to be victimized. Rest areas are a place where people stop in the middle of the night because nothing else is open, and they are often deserted. And me, as a woman coming back from a meeting in Southwest Virginia, may have to stop along Interstate 85, 81, and use one of these rest areas in the middle of the night and be disarmed because of this stupid law that does nothing to prevent crime. It, in fact, increases crime because it makes unwilling victims. I urge you to look favorably on this bill.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, I live in what it was supposed to be a secure building, and they took away the night security. So the building that I'm living in don't have night security, and it's low income building. And I support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair and members of the subcommittee, my name is John Weber and I present the NRA. The NRA supports House Bill 696 and thanks Delegates there for its introduction. Travelers using remote rest areas are often far from law enforcement and vulnerable to robberies, assaults, and carjackings. Disarming only the law-abiding there does not make anyone safer. In fact, criminals will know that people are disarmed there and far from law enforcement. This bill does not change who is prohibited from possessing firearms or alter any of the rules around truly sensitive locations such as courthouses or secure state offices. It simply recognizes that law-abiding citizens who may carry elsewhere should be able to protect themselves and their families at remote rest areas and state-run retail stores. We support this bill.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the subcommittee. Want to rise. My name is Callum Welch. I speak on behalf of myself and behalf of the Liberal Gun Club in support of this bill. Thank Delegates there for introducing it. Rest areas or other such locations are not the kind of sensitive business where places like this building might be at risk. Who is at risk are law-abiding citizens of the Commonwealth who want to do their kind of business. Vulnerable people should not be made even more vulnerable by being denied the right to exercise responsibly their constitutionally protected rights. We have members who are themselves vulnerable, people who are elderly, have disabilities, or might be from a protected class. They deserve the right to exercise their constitutionally protected right to self-defense after having been approved for and having completed the training to lawfully carry. We ask you to support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
I support the bill. Everybody else made good points. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone in opposition, please come up to speak. 4 minutes on the clock. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Andrew Goddard, Virginia Center for Public Safety. We oppose the bill. I don't see anyone here from the employees of ABC stores who are standing here asking for guns to be allowed to come into their store.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mike Fox, volunteer with Moms Demand Action. We oppose the bill.
Thank you. Moving to online. Ms. Vic Nichols, you're up first.
In Welford v. Lopez, Justice Alito said you can't relegate 2A rights to second-class status, which you're doing by violating Bruin here. In Virginia Beach, Building 2 people were murdered because it was a gun-free zone for the law-abiding, but not for the criminals. Out-of-state lobbyists shouldn't be telling Virginians how to run their state and how to live in it. How many more will die because of the political ideology that puts criminals first and doesn't allow us to protect ourselves? Thank you.
Thank you. Next in the queue is Mr. Daughtry.
All right. Dave Doherty in James City County. I urge you to vote in favor of this common sense bill. Highway rest areas are dangerous areas for travelers, whether Virginians or out-of-state travelers. What if you need to use the rest area late in the morning or late in the evening and early in the morning, and there's no law enforcement? It's dark out. You want some sort of protection, possibly going into these remote bathrooms at night. Plus, this is only affecting law-abiding citizens. But
I think your mic went out. All right. We're going to go to Mr. Wren.
For all the similar reasons that I opposed the previous bill about parks, I opposed this one on the same grounds. When you're outside your vehicle at a rest area, that's the most dangerous point that you can be at. And I've noticed nobody on the other side of the issue has raised up the idea of bringing 24-hour security to the rest areas. So I think it makes most sense to allow people to continue to carry as they go out of their vehicle into the rest area, rather than trying to figure out what to do inside, like to disarm themselves in their vehicle and safely store their gun while they're in the rest area. Conversely, I don't see any reason why. There's plenty of stores that people go into and out of every day carrying without incident. I don't think the VABC store is any different in that regard. And I also recommend lifting that restriction in the same way there. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Hemmings.
James Hemmings, Fairfax resident. I just want to start by saying off, I'm a volunteer firefighter myself, so I know how acutely dangerous the highways are. What you're saying here by prohibiting me from carrying an arrest area is that when I'm traveling, I have to stop on the highway and not go into a rest area to rest and to use the bathroom, to take a break from driving, and that you want me to instead stay on the highway, which is dangerous. A lot of accidents and fatalities happen on these highways. So it's common sense that a concealed carry holder should be able to go into these dangerous locations at night, park their car, and be safe from criminals who, again, do not follow the law. They do not care what laws you impose. They do not care if you say you cannot have a gun in this location. Do you really think a criminal, a felon, is going to obey what you're saying? They're not. They don't care. They're a criminal. They're quite happy to get repeat felonies for firearms offenses. They just do not care. On the other hand, lawful gun owners, they deeply care about the law. They want to continue their rights. They don't want to go to jail. They want to protect themselves and their families. And this is exactly why these trained individuals should be able to carry and protect themselves in these dangerous areas. I also noticed the opposition hasn't come up with any arguments against. They've just simply said, I don't oppose the bill. And it's because it's on ideological grounds. I hate guns, and this is why I want to oppose the bill. This is common sense. People should be able to protect themselves. And I strongly suggest that this bill is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving back to members of the committee, Delegate Wilt.
Go ahead, make your motion.
Mr. Chairman, motion at the appropriate time, sir.
Time is now.
I'd move to report.
Substitute motion.
Delegate Helmer.
Mr. Chair, move to PBI.
That motion does outweigh.
Mr. Chair, speaking to the motion.
Delegate Helmer.
I'll be brief. We're talking about bringing guns into liquor stores. Let's not do that. Yield my time to anybody else who wants to speak for it.
Awesome. Delegate Zier, did you want the last word?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the best favorite places for a criminal is back on the highway. We're talking about spaces where a crime is committed, and within seconds, the criminal's back on the highway, zooming down the road, they're getting away from their crime. So this is, if there was any place that we should have the right and the ability to protect ourselves, it should be right along the highway in a public spot after dark. And so I would ask the committee to consider that family that's got, the van is loaded down with kids. You need to kick them in because the kids are screaming in the back. We've all been through that. And I would ask you to consider that family as you consider this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. The motion to pass by indefinitely has been made and properly seconded. This is a recorded vote. Madam Clerk, please open the roll. Madam Clerk, please close the roll. HB 696 is passed by indefinitely on a vote of 6-3. That completes the business of the subcommittee today. The committee shall rise. Thank you.